I didn't actually set up some presentations and those stuff. I'm just gonna tell you guys what Reaper is. Okay, what is Reaper? What is Reaper? Reaper is a class. Oh, let me just turn on the skill page. Okay, Reaper is a class that has 3 kind of skills. Dagger skill, shadow skill, and I don't know the name for this. The red skill. We can just say red skill. Yeah. Okay. Green skills, which is dagger skill, mostly does synergy. They take cares about the synergies. Nightmare is a skill that you can go to the opposite side of the boss after using a skill like this. It doesn't matter where you are, it sends you to opposite side. Like this. Shadow Dot is a very, very important skill for both Thirst and Moonsound. This skill, after using this skill, it decreases the red skill's cooldown. Red skills are the main DPS skills for both Moonsound and Thirst. So if you use your skill like this, and if you use Shadow Dot, it decreases the cooldown. Every time you use this skill, it decreases the cooldown. So, it reduces the cooldown. So, having high level cooldown gem for Shadow Dot is kind of really important. For Thirst. For Moonsound, it takes you some time to get your identity gauge, so it's not that important. Spirit Catch, Spinning Dagger, Shovel Stinger, Ibelisto, Phantom Dancer, Dead Side, these are all as same as synergy skill. But the reason we don't use these skills anymore is because we got a recent patch like 6 months ago. For the first tripod, for last hit, it gives the poisoning to the boss. The poisoning attacks 68 some damage every second for 8 seconds. And it stacks up to 3. Also, anyone who's on this poisoning gets 12% decreased defense for 12 seconds. So if I use my skill like this, if the second hit hits, it decreases the defense by 12%. Before the patch, we had to stack up to 3 to get this synergy. You guys can see these stacks, right? After the patch, by using one skill, we can get the synergy. But before the patch, we had to stack up these 3 skills to get the synergy. But it changed. So Reaper actually got better. And there's only 2 choices. We only can use 2 dagger skills with Reaper. If you want to use other skills, you will lose your DPS, but it doesn't matter. If you don't care about it, it doesn't matter. But these 2 are necessary. You must have green dagger skill for both Thirst and Moonsound. Okay. If we move on to the green skill, which is called the Shadow skill, I'll just be talking about some skills that we must use on Thirst and Moonsound. So we're not going to be talking about Call of Knife, Blink, Black Mist, because it's kind of, these are kind of not used skill. Blink and Black Mist are used in PvP, but we don't use Call of Knife either on PvP or PvE. So distortion, it's a utility skill, and for the first tripod, it has quick ready, and for the second tripod, it has something like Arcana. We get movement speed. We get 30% movement speed after using this skill for 4 seconds. We can use like this. It goes through the boss. This is the main point. It goes through the boss. So you can go forward and back. You can use it like this too. There's many situations using the distortion and nightmare. So if boss is hitting you, if you want to go back, you can use distortion. If you can also use nightmare to go back. These two are really good utility skill for Reaper, and these two skills make Reaper to hit bosses back attack over 90%. You will have back attack. I mean, you'll be able to attack back attack over 90%. Okay. Let's move to Shadow Storm. Okay, Shadow Storm, this is kind of a DPS skill. At the same time, it's kind of okay, for Thirst Reaper, this is a DPS skill. For Moonsound Reaper, it's a identity gaining skill. So I'll tell you guys about identity stuff later, but if you fill up the identity with green or purple skill, we get a green assassin here. Once we get a green assassin here, if we use Z, we can what's the word for this, guys? We turn into a shadow mode? Is it right? We turn into a shadow mode. And if we attack, it does a lot of damage. Stealth mode, yeah. It does more damage after turning into a shadow mode. Okay? Like this. If I only use my skill like this, it only does 23 mil. If I use stealth and attack, it does 62 mil. Yes, it is because of the class engraving. If I take it off, if I take it off, this stacks up. This stacks up to 5, and each stack it gives 25% more attack damage. So we can assume that Moonsound class engraving gives you this stack right away and make you attack with really strong damage. Okay? I'm hitting without class engravings. It stacks up to 3, 4, and 5. I attack, it does 53 mil. If I have the class engravings, I can attack right away. Okay, this is because of the keen blunt. If I attack right away, it gives me the damage right away. I don't have to wait until I get the 5 stacks if we have the class engravings. Also, that stacks up to 5 stacks and it gives 25% each, so we get 125%. But if we use level 3 class engravings, it does 160% more damage. So we get about like 20% more damage by using the class engravings. So Shadow Storm is used for getting the gauge or DPS for the thirst. Okay, and the next skill, Shadow Trap. This is one of the counter skill, and we only use this skill at moonsound, which reduces the shadow skill for 2.4 seconds. Every time we use this skill, the shadow skills decrease, the cooldown decreases 2.4 seconds. So the reason we are using this skill for moonsound is because it gives us identity gauge this much. It's a really good skill that gives us identity gauge. And it also does a counter, so it's a really, really good counter. If we use like this, it does a good counter. So moonsound has two counter skill. Nightmare does counter if I hit the first attack on the boss's head. Damn, this does a counter. And if I stand on the boss's back, and when the boss is turned into blue for the counter, if I use Nightmare like this, this also counts as a counter. So we can actually do triple counter if the bosses give us a counter 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And let's move on to the red skills. Okay, I'll just lower down these skills. Okay, so the one is called Last Gravity. This skill is a skill that you attack from the back. Okay, these 4 are main DPS skill. These 4 are DPS skills. Smasher is only used for the thirst. So if you're gonna play Moonsound, you don't need to think about this skill. We're not gonna use this skill. This is the weakest skill for sub DPS with thirst. This is Anura. This says Anura. This skill is a gravity called Last Gravity. You jump down and hit boss's back. And hit the boss like this. About the tripod, it has critical vital point hit tripod, which gives you 40% crit chance. For the second tripod, for the second tripod, this gives you 60% more damage, and it deals about dark damage. This is only used for the moonsound, and for the third tripod, this is used for the thirst, and it gives you 70% damage. This gives you 70% damage when you turn on to Red Assassin on Identity. I'll show you this later. For the third tripod, it's the same tripod for Thirst and Moonsound. So what does this tripod do? When this tripod works is, after gaining gauge at green, we can get more gauges for red. If it turns into red, the assassin turns into red. And this is a chaos gauge. We call it chaos mode. And we get 70% more damage in a chaos mode. So the important thing about Thirst is that we have to maintain the red assassin all the time. By hitting green skills to the boss, we can maintain the stacks like this. Or you can just use your purple skill on the air. Doesn't matter. It still maintains the stack like this. So this stack lasts for 8 seconds. Distortion is 7 seconds. So you can just spam the distortion if you want to maintain this skill. Second skill is Rage Spear. This skill is used for both Thirst and Moonsound. The first tripod, we have Vital Point Hit tripod, which gives you 40% crit chance. For the second tripod, we have Quick Ready, which is only used for Thirst. This tripod is used for the Moonsound. This tripod is used for the Thirst. Second tripod, we have these 3 tripods, but we are only gonna use this ambush master tripod. Ambush tripod. We can say ambush tripod. It gives you 70% when we hit it on the back attack. For the 3rd tripod, it's just about DPS tripod. So it gives you 85% DPS, damage. So these 2 are for both Moonsound and Thirst. But for the first tripod, we can choose between Moonsound and Thirst. This is Rage Spear. This is one of the strongest skill for both Moonsound and Thirst. This is the strongest skill for Moonsound and the 2nd strongest for Thirst. 3rd strongest for the Thirst. Third skill is called Dancing Fury. This tripod the first tripod. For the first tripod, it has defense penetration tripod. We're gonna be using this. For the 2nd tripod, it also has the Chaos Enhanced Damage tripod, which is only used in Thirst. And we also have a Vital Point Hit tripod, which gives you 60% of crit chance. Of course, you're gonna be using this tripod for Moonsound. We're going to be using this tripod for Thirst. For the last tripod, it attacks 3 times and it attacks faster. It gives more attack damage. This tripod is used for both Thirst and Moonsound. Does Moon Reaper lack of crit or what? Nope, it doesn't lack of crit. We also run Spec and Crit with Entropy set, but we want more crit chance to run Keen Blunt. Dancing Fury works like this. It's kind of long. It takes a longer time than other 3 skills when you hit. So we must use Legendary Galewind for this. It's really important. And in Stealth mode, we attack like this. The motions are the same. And for the last skill, it's called Silent Smasher. And only have 3 tripods for Thirst. So we have Quick Ready, Quick Ready, right? Quick Ready for this. We have Fast Attack Speed tripod for 2nd one. And 3rd one, it's a dark attacking skill. It does 95% more damage. So it's called Silent Smasher. Let me show you how it works. So this skill works like this. You attack on the boss's back. I love the sound. I really like the effect sound for this. It's actually smashing the floor. Like this. You guys can hear the rock sound. Like this. Like meteorite dropping from the sky. Okay. So this is not filming. I'm not filming this video for YouTube. I'm gonna film it later, but this is not gonna be on my YouTube. I'm just gonna explain it for you guys. So let's move to Moonsound. Okay, so how do we play Moonsound? Right? How do we play Moonsound? First, when we meet the boss, we put the synergy with this. Distortion. Use Nightmare Back. Use Shadow Trap. And use the Rage Spear. Or, when you meet the boss, you can just use Shadow Storm and put synergy and use your skill right away. In the fast motion, it works like this, but this takes some time, so I would rather recommend you to use Shadow Storm and Shadow Dot like this. The cooldowns are really low with this skill, so it's not really hard to run Moonsound Reaper. It's really easy. Oh, I didn't tell you guys about the awakening. This is awakening called Cadentia. This gives you full identity gauge. If you're on the empty identity, it gives you full green. If you're on the full green, it gives you full red. So, when we are bursting damage, right? When we are bursting damage, this is how it works. And we can put all our skill in once. Right? We can put all the skill in once. It's really good. It looks fancy. So this is Moonsound, guys. This is just Moonsound Reaper. This is all about Moonsound Reaper. It's so you fill up the gauge with green and purple skill, and you use Z and attack the boss. Green, purple, green, red. Okay, purple, green, Z, red. Right? Purple, green, Z, red. Purple, green, Z, red. Remember, purple, green, Z, red. It's the basic cycle for Reaper. It's really easy class. You guys can see it's a really easy class. What's more fun? I find both fun to play, and I'll show you Thirst. So this is my Thirst Reaper. For Moonsound, I recommend you guys to run Spec and Crit, but for Thirst, I recommend you guys to run over 950 Swiftness. The more Swiftness you have, the more DPS you will get. But you need to think about your skills not used much in the actual raid. Like, I told you that the class engraving. Okay, I'll just introduce you guys about class engraving first. Okay, so look at this class engraving. It gives you 30%. You gain 30% more identity gauge, and if you fill up the chaos gauge, which is red gauge, not the green one, you get 25% more attack speed. I mean attack damage. Okay, you get 25% more attack damage. So it's green. We don't use green on the Thirst. We use the red on the Thirst. So we have to maintain this effect called Chaos Effect, which gives you 10% movement speed, 10% attack speed, and 15% critical chance. To maintain this skill, we should use Distortion. We should spam Distortion. We should keep spamming Distortion to keep this Chaos buff. Okay? So, this is how rotation works. It's really easy. Rotation is not that hard. Just spam your skills like this. This is all, guys. This is everything. Why 950? Because of the raid captain. Look at this. This is it. This is Thirst Reaper, guys. It's very, Easy. Reaper is not a hard class. I know that you guys are wondering, oh, I think Reaper is gonna be really hard class to play, and actually it's not. Just spam skills. Keep using Shadow Dot because it reduces your cooldown for red skills, like this. This is it. I don't have anything more to explain to you guys. Seriously, this is it. This is all about Reaper, guys. This is all about Reaper. Just maintain the Chaos, this red assassin Chaos gauge. You spam the red skills. And this is just all. Does Moon feel slow as full spec? Yes, it does. Okay, the reason I'm telling you guys about to run over 950 is because we get we get 16.32 movement speed, attack speed with this. Okay? We get 12% from Yearning set with supporter. So if that includes, it's 28%. 28.32, right? I told you guys about the Chaos buff. It gives you 10% attack speed and movement speed. So it counts as 38. If you take the Feast, it counts up to 140, which we can run full raid captain. What do you think, Adrenaline versus Cursed Doll? Almost the same. It doesn't matter. You can choose any engravings you want to play, but you should think. Okay, let me put out my memo. Okay, notepad. Let me take out my notepad. Okay, so here's the thing. You guys will be wondering, gee, what is a good engraving for Moonsound and Thirst? I want to prepare for it, right? You guys want to prepare for it. No keen blunt. Okay, so for Moonsound, recommended stats are going to be full spec with crit. Okay, for Thirst, swiftness over 950 and rest for the spec. More you have swiftness, more swiftness you have will get more DPS. Okay, we'll get more DPS, but you should use all your skills without what do we say? Without leaving it. Oh man, is there any word for this? Can you guys help me about figuring out some word for this? We should use all our skills without without holding them. Thank you. Okay, without holding them, okay? For engravings. For Moonsound. Okay, for Moonsound. Basic, Grudge 3. Right? Grudge 3. Necessary. Grudge 3. Ambush Master 3. Of course, guys. Of course. Yep, of course. Grudge 3, Ambush Master 3 is always used for both Moonsound and Thirst. And then we use Keen Blunt 3. Okay, but for some legendary accessories and some cheapo accessories, I would recommend moonsound 3. Okay, so this is for 333. This is for 333. If you want to add more, you can add adrenaline 1. If you want to add more, you can go like, it's all the same. Up to here, it's always the same. If you want to add more, you can add crystal. Okay. If we miss this part, we'll be sad. Can we use miss increase? The answer is no. The answer is no. We are not going to use miss increase with this class. If you want to, yes you can. But if you don't care about DPS, yes you can. Crystal 3. And what's the last? What do you guys think is gonna be the last? Grudge, Ambush Master, Moonsound, and Crystal. What do you guys want to use for the last one? Adrenaline? No. No adrenaline because we already have Crystal, and the thing is we don't lack of crit damage. I mean crit chance. So we are not gonna use adrenaline with this. Keen Blunt. Yes, it is. Keen Blunt. This is going to be the stabled. I mean, is it stabled? Wait, it's not stable. It's going to be. Is it right? Is it the right word? The stable. Staple. Yeah, it's gonna be staple. Nothing's gonna change except for this. Okay, we are going to use this 100%. Every one of you guys are gonna use this engraving if you guys want to play Moonsound. Nothing is going to change. Okay, nothing is going to change. But you can replace Crystal to Adrenaline if you want to. But this is the best, okay? This is the best. You can replace Adrenaline instead of Crystal. It doesn't matter if you want to. Okay? And some of you guys might be asking, gee, I want to go for cheapo. Can I use Moonsound 1 and Adrenaline 2? What's the answer, chat? What's the answer? You can say for me. Please shout out for me. What's gonna be the answer for that question? No, it's not nope. Yes, you can. If you don't care about DPS, yes, you can. Right? Yeah, that's same as no, right? Yes, that's same as no, but you can do whatever you want to if you want to use loser DPS. If you don't care about DPS, you can go for it. If you want to go for cheapo, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't be getting stressed about gatekeeping because you don't have Moonsound 3. Right? Reaper is a squishy class. It's a new class. You guys might be not really good at this thing, right? You guys might be not really good at playing Reaper, so you might get kicked out. So you shouldn't be getting stressed about getting gatekeep by not using Moonsound 3. Okay? Propulsion 3? Wow. Wow. I'm going for Propulsion 3 with my Bard then. Let's go. Okay, so this is it. This is just a stable. There's not other options, okay? There's not other options. Okay. It can be one more. Proportion 3, Disrespect 3, Necromancy 3. Holy shit. How about just going Master Brawler 3 because of the counter? Because of the counter for the Shadow Trap. Okay, you guys might be asking, gee, is it okay? Can we replace Cursed Doll to Barricade? Yes. Okay, it's like a Q&A session, but it's not a Q&A session. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. but will lose attack speed. Not using, not running, not using. What is it? Gale Wind. For 3 DPS red skills. Okay? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Seriously, it really doesn't matter. If you don't get bothered about getting low attack speed by not using Gale Wind, it doesn't really matter about using Barricade. You can use it if you want to. Seriously, you can use it if you want to. So this is the end for moonsound engravings. Let's move on to thirst engravings. Okay, as I said, Grudge Ambush Master 3 is going to be staple for both of them. And for last, of course, it's going to be Thirst 3. Or Thirst 1 and Agility 2. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. There is a DPS gap. Of course, Thirst 3 looks better than Thirst 1 and Agility 2, right? Of course, Thirst 3 looks better than Thirst 1 and Agility 2, but really doesn't matter. It only does about like 0.5 DPS gap. So don't worry about it. If you don't have some gold, but if you want to play Thirst, play like this. It really doesn't matter. For some more engravings for over relic sets and Bushmaster 3, and then we can add Raid Captain because your supporters will be having a yearning set from now on. So Raid Captain 3. And what can be added here? What can be added here? What do you guys think? What can we use here? Some people can say, oh, what about Cursed Doll? Oh, what about Keen Blunt? You know what? No, never. Never. Never use Keen Blunt. Never recommended to use Keen Blunt. Cursed Doll is better. But Cursed Doll is not the also best option for this. You know why? Because if we get the red stacks here, red Chaos Gauge, we get 25% attack damage. So this doesn't go well with the Cursed Doll. Right? This doesn't go well with Cursed Doll, but as I said, there is not other option to use for Reaper. Why no Keen Blunt? Okay, why no Keen Blunt? Because we are not gonna go. Well, it's really good if we put crit on the bracelet. We get 5% for the bracelet. About 5%, right? 5% for the bracelet. Okay? And we get 15% for the Chaos Gauge. So it counts up 20. Let me write down. 5% for the crit bracelet. 15% for the Chaos Gate. Not Chaos Gate. Chaos Gauge. 10% from the back attack. What's more? 22. Okay, so it's gonna be like 18 to 22% for entropy. Right? It equals up to 20, 30, 48 to 52% total. So is this going to be good for Keen Blunt? What's the answer, guys? What's the answer? Yeah, back attack gives you 10% crit chance, and I think it's 5% damage. No. We will lose the efficiency for Keen Blunt, so it's not going to be an option. What about Keen Blunt plus Agility 3? Still not gonna do a good thing, because Okay, because think about it. Agilin, okay. Agilin, it doesn't really matter though. It doesn't really matter, okay? Agilin 3 with Keen Bun 3, if we use it together, Agilin 3 with Keen Bun 3 versus Crystal 3 with... Huh? What are you not going to use then? Are you gonna give up Grudge? Are you gonna give up Ambush Master? Are you gonna give up Thirst? Oh! Over Ancient, guys. Okay, was a good question. Over Ancient. Over Ancient only, okay? Okay, over Ancient, okay? Ancient only. After. Okay? Adrenaline 3, Keen Bun 3, and Thirst 1 versus Crystal 3. What was the other one? Thirst 3 and Adrenaline 1. You were asking like this, right? Because we can't give up Grudge, Ambush Master, and Thirst. Obviously, right? Barricade, we can use Barricade here? No, because we need really fast attack speed with these. This is the reason that we're running all four with Galewind. It's a DPS loss. It's a DPS loss if we don't run Galewind with these. We really need a fast attack speed. Because the Shadow Dot keeps resetting our skills. We gotta use it fast. We gotta get better cooldowns for these skills. So that is really important. Grudge 3, Thirst 3, Ambush 3, Red Captain 3, Adrenaline 3. Oh, Adrenaline 3 instead of Crystal? Adrenaline 3 instead of Crystal? Yeah, we can use it. That was what I was gonna explain to you guys. So this is just forget about this because it's over Ancient, okay? It says over Ancient, so what I want to say is this is going to be staple all the time, right? This is going to be staple all the time. We have to use these three engravings, must, okay? So we can use Thirst 3 and Adrenaline 3. Or we can use Thirst 3 and Crystal 3. It doesn't matter. Or if you want to go for cheapo, you can use Adrenaline 2 and Thirst 1. Do you know how much DPS gap between these three are going to be? Do you know how much DPS gap is going to be? You know what? This is kind of strongest, but the DPS gap doesn't go over 0.3 or 5%. So, if you have Crystal Legendary Book, you can go for this. If you have Adrenaline Legendary Book, you can go for this. If you don't want to buy Thirst Legendary Book, you can go like this. You have so many choices for Thirst. But for Moonsound, we only have 1 or 2 or 3 options. But there's not many options for this. In Korea, people always chase for high DPS, the maximum DPS they can get, the highest ceiling. But what I just want to recommend is don't chase for it. If you play over 80% uptime on the raid, you are gonna do better DPS than having better gears but only like 50% uptime on the raid. Just play better. These like engravings doesn't affect much on the DPS. how you play better than them is gonna affect the DPS. Okay? If you have a Hitmaster book, well, rip. Is Reaper really good DPS in Korea? I'll be talking about some tier lists tomorrow. Okay? I'll be talking about some tier lists tomorrow, but Reaper, if I spoil it, Reaper is... I'll tell you guys tomorrow. Why even ask about ancient? They stay out without engraving until ancient? No, I was just telling you guys about this these stuff. So this really doesn't matter. So which engraving you use for thirst, it really doesn't matter. So you can just play whatever you want to. Okay, it's something like for example, okay? For example, what about Hitmaster versus Barricade versus Cursed Doll with Arcana versus Cursed Doll versus Raid Captain? Really, it really doesn't matter which one to choose. There is a lot of options that you can choose. Depends on your legendary book. Depends on how much gold you're gonna spend. But there's always gonna be the best option. Of course, these two perform better than this, but only about like 0.5%. It's lesser than 1%. It doesn't really matter, okay? It doesn't really matter. So this was the thirst engraving recommendations, so you can just choose whatever you want to. It really doesn't matter. I can answer all the questions you guys asked me about Reaper and Arcana and all those classes. I can tell you guys every single thing. What do you guys want to know more about this? What do you guys want to know more about this? Can you go over the swiftness spec ratio for thirst? Like we do go 2 earrings or 1 earring and ring? Yeah. You can just make it over 950 for yearning set. Just over 950 is fine. Just over 950 swiftness is fine. You can go full swiftness. But I told you, you should use all your skill without holding them. So it's like, okay, I play like 600 spec with like 1800 swiftness, right? Okay. Of course it's gonna work at Trixion, guys. Can you guys hit like this full time in the raid? If you guys can, I recommend you to run it like this. Even League of Legends Challenger can't do it like this, can't play like this. It's impossible. I've never seen someone who's running full swiftness not holding their skills and using it right away on the actual raid. This is really hard. And you also need to hit on the back because you're running Entropy plus Ambush Master. So, is there a broken bone build for Reaper? If you build it, you can, but there's no point of doing it. Do I play Moon on Thirst? I play both. Tell me about Perfect Suppression. It's good. You just have one question, same hand. 1520 plus minus 20 level. Which build do more damage? Both quality like 80 to 90. You mean the Thirst and Moonsound? Okay, here's the thing. Build. So, question: which? You guys want to know which engraving? Which engraving is stronger? This is a question always you guys ask me. Gee, is Empress stronger than Emperor? Gee, which one's stronger? Gee, what is stronger? Okay, the answer is Moon versus Thirst. We can say if you run all level 10 gems with 9-7 Agility 2, you Thirst is stronger. But if you want to run with level 7 gems, or like level 9, level 7, Moon is better. Moon is stronger. I mean, better. Okay? But, however, the gap won't be bigger than 1 or 2%. Okay? Did it make a good answer? Was it a good answer, guys? Yeah. So you can play whatever. We can assume that you guys can play whatever you want to for the Reaper. What's the hardest to play? What is the hardest? Harder to play? Answer is both easy. Even when considering burst versus consistent in raise only 2%, yup. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So Moon is cheaper than Thirst? Which is cheaper? Answer is Thirst. So if you look at the market for earring, over 70 quality, I mean over 90 quality, let's see. Okay, let's see, over 70. Spec, Thirst 3, let's count as Ambush 6. 45k, 75k. What about Swiftness? 35k. What about moonsound? 50k. For the ring, 180k, 170k. What about the Thirst? 45k. We can assume that Thirst is cheaper than moonsound, but I told you the damage gap is not the damage gap is not that big, but moonsound is better with level 7 gems. Okay? Any more questions you guys want to know before Reaper releases? This is just a brief showcase. I'm going to be making a guide, the proper guide, later. So, if you didn't land as red skill, you lose much damage on Moon compared to Thirst, right? Of course! Of course! Because we have a lesser cooldown for the Thirst. Like 8 seconds, 5 seconds for the spear. But if we change the build to moonsound, it's a big DPS loss if we fail hitting it with the moonsound. It's 20 seconds. Even I use the shadow dot, it's like a 12 seconds. It's longer than the Thirst, so you will lose more DPS if you miss it. So Moon burst damage, Thirst consistent. Yep, sort of. How is Thirst cheaper if you need the higher gems to get it on par with Moon? Your question has the answer. You should get higher gems to perform Thirst. So what does many people do? They only run level 7 and or level 9 gems for Reaper. I mean for most of the class. So there's only several people who goes for the high ceiling with the Reaper. Same as other classes, right? Most people runs level 7 gems or level 9 gems. So that's the reason people go for moonsound instead of Thirst. Right? Your question has the answer, bro. Right? Oh, and there's some runes that you guys should be getting ready of if you want to play the moonsound. Quick recharge, 3 Gale Wind. 3 Gale Wind. Or you can put some Overwhelm rune here. It has a good stagger. Gravity has a best stagger. But you need a lot of wealth runes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you need 4 Gale Wind, wealth runes for this. But for Thirst, you don't need wealth runes. Is there downtime playing Moon since full spec? What does it mean downtime? Can you explain it to me? My English not really good, so... Is Reaper weak point good? Reaper weak point. What does it mean, Reaper weak point? It doesn't matter about the rarity about the Gale Wind. It doesn't really matter. Gap between rotations? Oh, destruction good? For Thirst, it has 2. For Moon, it has 1. It has 2. Both has 2, but Moonsound has longer rotation for the skill, so Thirst has better destruction if you have to put destruction, if you have to keep putting destruction, like Gate 2 Akan, 0 bar. Also, Thirst has better stagger for the whole thing. Thirst has the better stagger than Moonsound, so you guys can think about it. What about the stagger? Yeah, I just told you. My downtime is when you are on floor POV. Oh, you mean since we're running full spec, right? Since we're running full spec, there's a YouTube video of me playing Moonsound on my channel. You guys can type !YouTube and go and check this video. Moonsound Reaper Braille hard mode gate 1 to 2, 2-man buzz. $30골드지. 정확하게 30골드야. 단순히 일단 알고 오는 건데 됐잖아. 그럼 된 거지. 시간도 뭐 그렇게 막 빡빡한 것도 아니고 무조건 돼 이거. 해봤어 내가. 1인도 되는데 1참으로. What passenger just okay? So what do you mean about the down? I still yeah, but I mean. It depends how you play for both. Downtime is basically when you use your skills and then you have to wait literally doing nothing. Oh, there's no downtime. Oh! Even with level 7 gems, I'll change this. Oh, I see. I just showed you guys about the Thirst, right? So... Oh, okay. Let me give you guys some brief rotation for the Moonsound. Imagine we're not having any of the gauge, right? I'm running level 7 gems. There's some but like on only 1 or 2 seconds. I used it wrong. I should be using Shadow Storm here. Even though it's like a Trixion dummy, there's like literally none. No downtime. Waiting for the skills. Yep. And can we say it's a burst damage? It could be kind of burst damage, but compared to Thirst, but it's like a constant damage, right? Oh, I used my skill wrong. It goes like this. Moon Reaper is kind of Empress Arcana. Yeah, it's a constant damage. It's a constant damage, but it kind of has a burst damage at the same time. Yeah, I'll do this same thing as a summoner before. After making a proper guide